at sa pagkakataon maipagpatuloy ang pag-aaral ng mga kabataan. Gabayan mo po ang bawat isa sa amin. Anuman ang bahagi na aming gagampanan, naway maging maayos at matagumpay ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral na aming gagawin sa harap nito. Patawarin mo po kami sa aming mga pagkulang at pagkakasala. At sa aming paggawa, ikaw po ang aming makasama. Amen.
Amazing, everyone! I'm MAM Maricon of Gente de Leon National High School, your science teacher for today. Welcome back to another episode of Science 7 live streaming lesson. I am glad to see you again. How are you today, students? I hope your day is fantastic, just like mine. Okay, my dear students, let's make your day more fantastic. I would like you to imagine that you were an explorer during the ancient time. How do you think you could find places that are far from your country without maps? That's quite difficult to imagine, right? Did you know that places that explorers visited and discovered in the ancient times were marked according to their positions in relation to the stars and the sun and the length of time it took to reach them? Sounds interesting, isn't it? Over time, maps were drawn accurately as more places were visited. Today, we have satellite data giving us accurate positions of places anywhere here on Earth. A map gives us a flat picture of the location of places on Earth, and the globe gives a description of how the places look on the curved surface of the Earth. After it was proven that the Earth is round, scientists marked the globe into sections. Now, for our lesson today, first, you must demonstrate how places on Earth may be located using a coordinate system. And second, you must describe the location of the Philippines with respect to the continents and oceans of the world. From the previous lesson, you already learned all about the important imaginary lines that we can use to locate different places here on Earth. Let us have a short recap. Looking at the globe, let us locate the North and South Pole. And how about the equator? Notice that there are lines drawn from the North Pole to the South Pole. These lines are called meridians. The spaces in the globe are divided in 2 degrees since it is a circle. Scientists have assigned the meridian passing through Greenwich, England, as the prime meridian, which is also called the 0-degree longitude. Another line drawn opposite the prime meridian on the other side divides the globe into 2. Facing the globe, east of the prime meridian is the eastern hemisphere, and to the west is the western hemisphere. The longitudes are 15 degrees apart with 12 meridians to the east and 12 meridians to the west. The longitudes 0 degrees and 180 degrees are common to both eastern and western hemispheres. Longitudes measure distances east or west of the prime meridian. Find the equator on the globe. The equator divides the globe into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. These are the lines, or these are the two halves above and below the equator. Lines drawn parallel to the equator to the north or south are called parallels of latitude. With the equator as 0 degrees latitude, distances above the equator are called north latitudes, and below the equator are the south latitude. The North Pole is 90 degrees north latitude, and the South Pole is 90 degrees south latitude. Now, there are two ways by which we can describe the location of a certain place. One is by determining its latitude and longitude. The other one is by identifying the land masses and bodies of water in the surrounding area. Remember, the latitude and longitude position of any place on Earth is called the coordinate, with the latitude shown first and the longitude shown second. We can identify different locations on a map if we have the coordinates of the location. Take a look with these examples. Number 1, which country is located at 0 degrees and 60 degrees west? First, let us find the latitude. Remember, this is the horizontal or parallel line. In this case, it is 0 degrees, which is also known as the equator. Next, let us find the longitude. In this case, it is 60 degrees west. As you notice, it is in what we call the Western Hemisphere, and it mostly passes through South America. Then, let us find where those lines intersect. The coordinate of 0 degrees and 60 degrees west is in the country of Brazil. Now, let us try to locate another coordinate. We have 35 degrees north and 90 degrees west. Again, first we need to look for the latitude. They are the horizontal lines. In this case, it is 35 degrees north, meaning to say it is above 30 degrees north in the northern hemisphere. And it goes through North America, Africa, and Asia. Next, let us find for the longitude. In this case, it is 90 degrees west. It goes mostly through Central and North America. Lastly, we can now find where the latitude and longitude intersect. In this case, they intersect in the United States of America. Now, it's your turn to locate these coordinates. 16 degrees north and 121 degrees east. In which country are these coordinates located? Okay, let us take a look. 16 degrees north is the latitude and it passes through the Asian continent. Then let us find the longitude for 121 degrees east. It goes through Indonesia and Taiwan. In what country does 16 degrees north and 121 degrees east intersect? Yes, you are right. It is in the Philippines. As I mentioned earlier, using latitude and longitude is not only the way that we can use to describe the location of a certain area. Another way is by identifying the land masses and bodies of water that are found in that area. So, what are the land masses and bodies of water that surround the Philippines? Philippine Islands are located within the latitude and longitude of 16 degrees north and 121 degrees east. Philippines is in the northern hemisphere. It is located in the heart of Southeast Asia. The Philippines is an archipelago made up of over 7,107 islands. However, a recent report by the National Mapping and Resource Information, or NAMRIA, reveals that there are 534 newly discovered islands, which increases the total number of our country's islands to 7,641. Our archipelago is one of the biggest island groups in the world and located along the boundaries or edges of plates in the Pacific, popularly known as Pacific Ring of Fire. It is along these zones where there is active volcanic activity. This explains why our country has about 23 active volcanoes and is prone to earthquakes. Surrounded by large bodies of water, it is bounded on the east by the Pacific Ocean. On the west, by the West Philippine Sea, connected to the South China Sea. On the south, by the Celebes Sea, and on the north, by the North Philippine Sea, connected to the East China. At this point, I am sure that you now know how to locate places using latitude, as well as by using the land masses and bodies of water that surround the area to locate different places. Now, to check how much you have learned from our topic today, let me challenge your map reading skills by locating places using latitude and longitude, land masses, and bodies of water. You just answer the following questions by looking at the map and locate the correct places of the different coordinates that I am going to flash on the screen. Shall we start? Question number 1. What continent would you be on at 10 degrees south and 70 degrees west? Take a closer look at our map. And here is our answer. We can find Brazil in the 10 degrees south and 70 degrees west, which is in the continent of South America. Next question. 0 degrees latitude, 0 degrees longitude, the intersection of the equator and the prime meridian would be located in which ocean? If you look at the intersection of 0 degrees latitude, known as the equator, and 0 degrees longitude, known as the prime meridian on a map, you will see that the confluence falls in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, in the Gulf of Guinea, off the coast of Western Africa. So, our answer is Atlantic Ocean. For the third question, let us say you receive a radio SOS call that a boat is sinking at 20 degrees south and 100 degrees east. What ocean would you travel to try to rescue the people? The correct answer is Indian Ocean. The location given by the radio SOS call of the sinking boat, 20 degrees south and 100 degrees east, means that the location of the boat is in the Indian Ocean, just west of the northwestern part of Australia and just south of the central part of Indonesia. Here is our fourth question. What bodies of water found to the west of the Philippines? In the western area of the Philippines, the main body that covers the area on the globe is named as the West Philippine Sea, connected to the South China Sea. And for our last question, what continent is the Philippines part of? The Philippines, an island country in the Western Pacific Ocean, is part of the southern portion of the continent of Asia. You are doing great, students! Okay, it's now time to wrap up our lesson for today. We have learned that there were two ways by which we can describe the location of a certain place. One is determining its latitude and longitude. The other is by identifying the land masses and bodies of water in the surrounding area. To further enhance your math reading skills, you may answer your fourth quarter module from pages 4 to 6. The titles of the activities are locating places and where is the Philippines located. Now, it is time for our question and answer. If you have questions and some clarifications, just type it in our comment section. Let us have our first question. Why should you bring a map when you travel? A map is any sort of flat or guide that is used for direction. It is important because it is used to predict and figure out where things are located. Maps can show where streets run in a city. They can show where certain physical features such as mountains and rivers are. They can show what areas of the world make up the territories of the various countries. Moving on to our next question. What is GPS? You may have seen or used Global Positioning System or GPS devices in cars or on camping trips. These devices use data from satellites orbiting the Earth to locate places on our planet. GPS devices describe the locations to us in the form of latitude and longitude coordinates. Global Positioning System or GPS technology was originally developed for military use, but it is now available to anyone. And the last question. What is the difference between absolute and relative location? Absolute location references a place on the Earth's surface based on specific geographic coordinates, such as latitude and longitude. For example, the absolute location of Philippines is 16 degrees north and 121 degrees east. On the other hand, relative location refers to locating a place relative to other landmarks. For example, you could give the relative location of Philippines as being in the northern and eastern hemispheres. They are positioned of the southern coast of Asia. It is also directly east of Vietnam and northeast of Malaysia. There you have it. We have finally reached the conclusions of another day of adventure in the ever-exciting world of science. I hope you learned a lot and have fun with today's lesson. Thank you for your focused attention and participation. Keep safe and have a great day, everyone.